I've been feeling sentimental lately. Maybe it's because we've entered a new year, and if you've seen my recent video, you'll know that I have a new car camping setup. All this change has brought about a lot of feelings of sentimentality and nostalgia, a longing to hold on to what was once there. I've been feeling like going back to something familiar this week, something comforting. So, this weekend, I decided to go regular old winter car camping, but in my new setup, and in one of the coldest places in the lower 48, Stanley, Idaho. My goal is to test out the car and enjoy/survive the minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit it's supposed to be overnight, while also going back to some familiar and comforting routines. Now you might be asking, Kate, how is car camping in negative temperatures comforting? Very true. Ideally it would not be that cold. But I love the peace that comes with winter camping. The quiet beauty you wake up to, the lack of bugs, bears, and crowds, the calm and stillness in the air that isn't frightening but puts you at ease. I'm looking forward to experiencing a balance of excitement with the new setup and comfort in some familiar camping traditions. So, let's jump right in. Good morning, everyone. It is 0 degrees Fahrenheit right now. I found this spot last night with this gorgeous view of the mountains. I got in really late, so I couldn't see anything, but I had marked this down on Google Maps the last time I was in the Sawtooths and knew it had an amazing view. It snowed a lot since I last visited, so there's just giant snowbanks, which makes it a little hard to see, but it is still so beautiful. I love snow, can't complain. Yeah, got in really late last night, around 1 a.m. It was a long drive, and I had so much coffee while I was on the road that I couldn't fall asleep until around 3 a.m. So I'm gonna be exhausted later today. But yeah, I couldn't see anything last night, but man, is it gorgeous. It was minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit last night, and I am currently in one of the coldest places in the lower 48, which is Stanley, Idaho. Actually, technically, sorry. Right now, I think I'm right outside of Stanley, but because it's a national forest, it might still be Stanley, but it's like 30 minutes south of it, and it was still minus 15. It was still freezing. But tonight I will actually go camp in the town of Stanley because I hate myself. That's the only explanation for camping in one of the coldest places in the lower 48. But actually, last night was pretty toasty. I only used my electric blanket for about 1 hour before bed to just kind of warm everything up. I blast the heat in the car right before bed also. I have 4 layers. I sleep on top of I think it's a 25-degree double sleeping bag, and then I sleep in the actual 0-degree sleeping bag on top of that. So it's just to add some insulation from the cold bottom of the car, even though I don't know if that helps or not, but I thought probably it does. And then I had another regular fleece blanket on top of that, and then I sandwiched myself with the double sleeping bag. So I was sleeping on like one half, and then I fold the other half on top of me, and then I had my electric blanket on top just as a regular blanket for most of the night. So that kept me really warm. I slept in a base layer. I actually forgot a mid layer, but I found like a fleece thermal turtleneck, so I wore that over top, and then I wore my puffy jacket, which kept me really warm. I didn't even have to wear a beanie because my 0-degree bag has like a nice warm hood. So I'm glad I stayed toasty, because the last time I was here a couple weeks ago, I was freezing. It was bad. I didn't warm the car before bed, so the air was just really hurting my throat, my lungs, breathing, my face hurt, and it took hours to fall asleep just because of that. But this time it wasn't so bad. So this is my second time camping in my new setup. If you saw my recent video, I got a new car. I don't know if I should call it a new setup. It's the same no build setup, just in a new car. But yeah, I am so happy with this because my last car wasn't all-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive makes all the difference driving on snow and ice. I drove through 2 snowstorms to get here. The second one, it was dark. I saw a wolf. It was pretty wild drive here yesterday. I'm glad I made it in one piece. So this is only my second time camping in my new car. It is a Mazda CX-50 premium trim, and I love her a lot. I love her so much. And for whatever reason, my heart's desire was to come to Idaho for both of the times I've been car camping in my new car, which is an 11-hour drive from Washington, where I live. But, you know, it was my heart's desire. I felt like being here, and I'm very glad I came here. But yeah, that's another tick in the column of I think I hate myself. So this weekend, my plan is to have a very chill, lazy weekend here out in the Sawtooths. But first things first, I am going to warm up by making coffee, and one of my camp staples for years and years now, it's been a comfort camping meal. It's just plain old oatmeal. I guess I add stuff in it, but it always makes me warm and happy, so let's get started. I usually hate building a whole camp table, like setting it up. Found a hack. So this is the top of a miniature camp table that you build whenever you get to camp. I found that it fits really well on top of this plastic storage bin I have, and it's like a layer of protection so that I can cook on top of this bin without burning the plastic. Oh, it smells good. Oh, there's bits of chocolate in here. Oh my gosh, it's freaking cold. But this coffee and the oatmeal I had really warmed me up. Really takes me back to the good old days camping in Milan, my previous Mazda 3. By the way, a few of you asked what I named my new car. For those of you who don't care, you can just skip forward like a couple minutes or something. So I named her Elphaba, or Elfie. I'm a pretty insufferable Wicked fan, so I apologize about that. The story in Wicked really resonates with me, and I love Elphaba because she's such a strong female heroine. My last car was named Mulan, and I wanted to stick with the ongoing fictional female heroine theme. I think a lot of us can relate to feeling like an outcast or feeling misunderstood or feeling made fun of for certain physical features or characteristics about us. And what I love about Elphaba is she's a very quiet, confident person who really learns what she needs, what she wants, who she is, and what she's not willing to sacrifice. And I love that. I'm gonna finish my coffee and then head to the snowshoeing trail. Okay, update. It is so beautiful here. My car was saying when I got here in the sun it was around 12 or 14 degrees. It's actually not too bad. I'm just wearing glove liners and my hands are warm. So I feel like it's definitely warmer than 12 degrees now. It's so quiet. The forest is so peaceful and I love it here. It's so pretty. I'm testing out some new gaiters and so far so good. I really like them. I also didn't realize my snowshoes are the brand Sawtooth. I just got them on Amazon years ago and they're super cheap. It's pretty fitting because I'm in the Sawtooths now, right? Anyways, I'm actually not sure how long this trail is, so I'm gonna keep going and find out. how fluffy the snow is. It's so powdery. So, if you saw my last video, you might have seen me snowshoe in a very similar looking place. I'm actually at the same area, doing a different trail, but it follows, I think, the same creek just on the other side, so that's why it might look really similar. I love when it's sunny and snowy. It's so peaceful, and I don't know, I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but it is very, very beautiful, and I'm very happy. Okay, another update. The gaiters are holding up super well. I don't know how I ever snowshoed without gaiters. I used to just get snow in my shoes every single time and just deal, which was unpleasant, but this has changed the game. This is just a very basic piece of gear, but for some reason I just never got it until now, so. Believe it or not, this pan is clean. It's so nice to have a car with a hatchback that I can cook out of. It truly changes the game. But sometimes I do miss my old car because she was really inconspicuous. She didn't draw a lot of attention, so wherever I wanted to camp basically was fine, like even in the city. This car though, I feel like it draws a little more attention, but that's okay. I made one of my favorite comfort foods, which is avocado toast. I brought rosemary Parmesan bread from Costco, prosciutto, Swiss cheese, and some not very ripe avocados. They're pretty green, but you know, that's all I can get up here, and some sliced tomatoes. So I'm going to eat. I'm starving. It's still warm. I thought in 14 degrees it would instantly get cold, but yay. It's so good, honestly. I've just been chilling in my car the past couple hours. It started to flurry. It's like a teeny bit flurrying, but that's cool. I also forgot to mention I came to the town of Stanley, and technically you're not allowed to camp inside the town, so I'm just right outside the town in this beautiful valley. The sun is getting a little low. I kind of want to make dinner before dark just so I'm not boiling water in the dark. I guess it's not that big a deal. I'm so used to being in my old car where I sort of have to plan these things out because I couldn't cook out of my car. I had to set up a table or just boil things on the on the ground. So actually, this makes things so much easier. Oh, it smells so good. Hey Siri, set a timer for 10 minutes. I look a little uncomfortable right now because I can't sit fully up in my car. The ceiling is definitely higher than my last setup, but still not fully able to sit up all the way. But one day I will have a setup where I can sit fully up, in the back at least. So last video I got a couple questions and I thought I would answer them here. So the first question was, so you do more car camping instead of tent camping. I'm curious to why the preference and if you might consider tent camping in the future. Believe me, it's fun. Yes, it definitely is fun. I do tent camp. It's just the car's more comfortable. And in the winter I tent camp even less. But I do want to winter tent camp before the season ends. The second question was, for privacy window shades, are you going to custom cut or are you able to find ones that are made for your car? I do have window shades. You can definitely custom make them. I bought these on Amazon because I was sort of in a hurry to get window shades before my first trip in this car. Just for privacy. I really prioritize privacy because I'm a girl. So I really wanted to get these in a hurry, so I just bought them off Amazon. They're not the best, but they definitely work. I got my last set on eBay that were custom sized for my last car, my Mazda 3. These are definitely a little more flimsy. You can definitely custom make them for one, cheaper, and two, better quality. So if you are able to custom make yours, I highly recommend it. I don't recommend doing what I did. And the last question was, sort of sad to see Malone go, but you gave her many adventures in her life. Any future plans for your new rig? I'm sure you get a lot of viewers who enjoy the customizing and modifying aspect of car camping as well. It would be great to see a video dedicated towards car modifications, or if you choose to do a no build, how you can set up and take down your camper. Yes, thank you so much for this comment. I really appreciate it. Right now I basically have the same setup as before. It's just a lot roomier, which I love. I haven't thought too much about changing it yet since I just got the car, and I just wanted to focus on experiencing what it's like to actually camp in this car before I modify anything. I don't think I'll modify anything anyways, at least for 6 months or a year. I really want to give it time and just enjoy the bare bones of this car, and I think it would be pretty expensive to customize or modify anything, so it's just not in the works right now. I'm really just enjoying using my setup that I have already, a no build setup, and if you haven't seen that video and you're curious about my no build setup, I will link it in the description below. I filmed that with my previous car, but it's basically the exact same in this car. So something I used to do until probably last year when I got really busy was every other weekend I would do a spa night and just relax, watch a movie, do like my nails, skincare, that kind of thing, and just de-stress from the busy work week. And I really miss that, so I'm going to do that again tonight. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not a girl, I suggest you try it. It's really relaxing, and who doesn't need a spa night? Who doesn't need to relax and just treat themselves for a little bit? And during these spa nights, I would watch a really comforting movie that I've seen probably like 30 times. Usually a Jim Carrey movie or the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I actually have seen probably over a dozen times. Or like Legally Blonde. Shout out Elle Woods, I would totally name a car after her. So I think I'm just gonna do that tonight. By the way, a tip for keeping warm in negative temperatures or cold weather camping is, well, I guess a few tips. So first, you can boil water and pour it in an Nalgene bottle, and you can stick it in your sleeping bag to warm it up. Make sure you bring hand warmers. Those definitely come in handy. The last thing I like to do, I like to sip on some hot water before bed if I'm not too lazy to boil some. So you can boil some water, put in your Nalgene, and then sip on the rest, and it helps warm you inside out. Never go into this kind of weather unprepared. Know what you're doing. Tell at least 2 people where you're going, have like a snow shovel, emergency thermal blanket, extra water and food and fuel. Just really know what you're doing and have a backup plan for if something goes wrong. You never know. So I like to play it safe.
Chuck, the date started off good, but just before we got to the party, she seemed to tense up.
Gravy. So can you still tap into the aquatic supply stores in the area?
You get fired, Will. Come on. Management was restructuring.
Because that only occurs when you love something more than you love yourself. I doubt you've ever dared to love anybody that much.
Hello, nice to meet you. Doing fine. Now.
I realized being sentimental is a funny thing. A good thing. I wouldn't feel this way if I didn't feel deeply about the things I'm sentimental for. I think it helps us appreciate memories more, create better connections with those around us, have empathy for others. Being sentimental can show up in our lives as feeling the warmth and safety of a comfort food, watching the same movies, remembering the good days camping in my old car, and seeking out a familiar routine. It keeps those people, places, and things that have left us close to our hearts and keeps those happy memories alive. And similar to the nostalgia I feel when I think of snow days from my childhood, I feel the nostalgia for past seasons. Even though winter will come again next year, and the year after that, I already feel myself pre-grieving its end and longing for more. I guess all good things must come to an end, but it doesn't mean that they'll leave us forever. I think that by feeling sentimental, that's our way of holding on to some of that joy in the present. It can serve as a reminder of the things that mean the most to us and bring us the most joy. And a reminder for each of us that we could probably do with a little more of that joy in our lives when we can spare it. Excitement. Oh my god, I just inhaled.